And we're good to go. 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Avanti Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Dave Mamano, your host, and I am here to help you move forward as an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur if you want to be entrepreneurial within your company. Excuse me, I have a cold today. We help you do that too. Today I have on the show a great guest to help us move forward. Her name is Ronda Conger. Ronda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I am super pumped. I finally have met somebody who I believe's energy rivals, if not beats mine. So congratulations.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I do it. So first and foremost, a quick call out to my college fraternity brother, John Hughes, who lives in Boise, Idaho, and listens to my podcast for 3 years now. And he said, "Hey, Dave, there's a woman I know named Ronda Conger who should be on your show." And, if John says it should happen, it happens. So here you are. Very excited to talk to you. I'm going to read your bio, and then we're going to dig into all the details. So Ronda Conger, some say she was raised by wolves. Others claim truckers. No matter what her upbringing, this superwoman has flourished in a male-dominated industry for 26 years. As vice president of CBH Homes, Idaho's largest home builder, Ronda leads the CBH troops daily and has overseen all areas of the company for the past 16 years. Recently, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society awarded Ronda the Chairman's Leadership Award. Last year, the Idaho Business Review named Ronda the 2018. Now we're in 2020, so I'm going to say 2 years ago.
Thank you.
She was the Woman of the Year for the Idaho Business Review. And on top of that, she also received the 2018 St. Luke's Children's Hospital Luke Award. As a businesswoman, professional speaker, and author, Ronda is on a mission to spread a movement within her 3 books: Better Human, it's a full-time job; Better Thinking, Think Better, Be Better; and her newest book, You Go First, Become the Leader Your Team Needs. It's been rumored her high energy and passion come from shotgunning Red Bulls daily, but she'll tell you that it comes from her incredibly hot husband, Jim Conger, just ask her, and 2 sons, or maybe just ask him, right? She thanks the heavens each day for this incredible journey, is so very grateful for the opportunity to serve and love all those that she comes into contact with. Ladies and gentlemen, Ronda Conger. So, Ronda, you're the largest. You are the largest home builder in Idaho.
Yes.
Which is, that's like pretty big to say, right?
We're, incredibly blessed and excited. We're actually ranked 37th in the nation. So we're the 37th largest builder in the nation, #1 builder in the state of Idaho, and have been for well over 25 years.
Wow.
So we're pretty excited. The owner and founder of the company is an amazing man with just this really big vision and dream. I've actually been here for over 17 years as the vice president, and we just have so much fun just doing some really big things together and with our team.
I love it. That is, now I say this with tongue in cheek, right? But you're a woman. How is that possible to be in this
going on?
This testosterone He-Man laden industry, and you're kicking some major butt? How is that possible?
I love that. One, there's a couple things I would tell you. Don't let the package fool you. I'm a tomboy. So first things first. I have 2 boys. Love it. I'm a sports, right? So I tell you that. I think the other thing too, we always tease Corey Barton, the owner and founder. We always tease him because you have to understand that 70% of our team is women.
Wow.
So we just break the mold all over the place, right? I mean, we are just doing some amazing, big, fun things. And I hope that we're showing the way that I don't care, who you are or what you are. If you're, have amazing things, amazing talents and knowledge and skills, we want you on this team. It just happened this way that we're 70% women. Some people say, well, is it your hiring? Is that what you're looking for? And I would say, no, we put everyone through the gauntlet. It's just, these are the people that have made it through the gauntlet.
I got what's his name?
Corey Barton.
Corey. I got to meet Corey because, my company today, we have a network of entrepreneurs, a membership-based community. And I looked at the membership list and I didn't mean to do this. It just happened. We're about 70% women. And
wow.
my previous company, which was a magazine called Next Step U, was a national magazine for high school students. One day I looked around and we were about 70% women. And out of my management team, there was 5 of us, 3 women, two men, and I was one of them. And I would love to say like, oh, I was so forward thinking that I was really trying to, be very, inclusive. But, sadly I wasn't. It just kind of happened. I think I just tend to work with the people that I like, that we're kind of attracted to each other from a doing great things perspective and helping each other perspective. And that's the way it works out. So we must be just naturally forward thinking people, right? So,
okay. So this is interesting. So we have a gauntlet, and I do mean that we have a gauntlet. You have to go through all these things in order to work here. And one part of the gauntlet, and I think this is really interesting, is that right off the bat, we send you, the minute you apply with us, we send you this like 3-page sheet that says, just fill this out about yourself. We got to get to know you, right? First. And we've had so many people that will email back and be like, no, I'm not going to fill that out. When you meet me, you'll see how great I am. I don't need to do any of that. And then we always email back, well, you failed the first part of the gauntlet, which is, can you follow directions? Can you follow directions? And if you can't follow directions, then you won't get an interview. You won't get anything. So I think that's interesting to me, that we definitely put you through all these different things. And unfortunately, some of our other candidates haven't been able to get through that.
Yeah. I just, I tend to work really well with women. And right now at the Vanti, I have about 5 contract workers that help me out with, events and producing this podcast and marketing, and design. And they're all women. So I don't know, you guys get stuff done, right? So that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Can I get an amen?
Hey, you get stuff done. You get stuff done. I love it. And I tend to think men and women work really well together, sometimes better than man to man or women to women, So, and it's just probably a good yin and yang, so I love it. So now, but why you're really here, besides being, really cool in what you're doing in your industry of home building, is, you're doing something a lot more than that, which you don't have to. I'm sure you're making a good buck. You could do very well. You could go home. You could have dinner. You could, turn on a good movie and do whatever you want. But you decided to, and I'm thinking it's because you're grateful for your life. How can you help others? And so you've written 3 books, and you have a great website, betterhuman.today, correct? Yep. So tell us how that all started and what's about.
So, one of my favorite quotes that I live by is, much has been given, much will be expected. And so I do feel like I live a very full life. I've been very blessed. I'm very grateful for this ride. I don't want to take any of it for granted. And so what started out, I would probably say close to over 14 years ago, was people would ask me, would you come talk to this group? Would you come talk to the chamber? Would you come talk to this business? Would you? And so I started, and it's funny, I didn't go to talk about home building. I was there to talk about life and leadership and you as a human and being better. And I think that, I love people. I love life. I want people to get it all. I just have this like, come on, I see so much. Let's go. And so I started speaking, and then it was just like, can you speak here? Can you speak here? So I started, speaking more and more than I ever would have thought, actually, to be honest. And then all of a sudden this other thing started happening. People would come up to me afterwards and say, can I get a copy of your book? Can I get a copy of your book? And I'm like, I don't have a book. Yeah. I'm just doing this because I need to give back. Much has been given to me, and I want to pay it forward in this life. And I'm here to serve as well. I firmly believe that. And so one of these, this was probably, I guess, obviously 5 years ago, a gentleman came up to me after I spoke, and he said, let me give you my card. And I was like, well, thanks. Nice to meet you. Great. I'll take your card. And he said, no. I want a copy of your book. And I was like, I don't have a book. Because I don't. And he was like, you will. And when you do, will you send it to me? And I just said, all right, I'm listening. I'll do it. So then I dove into the book side of it and fell in love with it. And just, part of me, like I said, much has been given, much is expected. I truly want to give out as much love as I can. I want to serve as many people as I can. So that really kind of became this whole other side of my life.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And obviously gives you joy and energy. So you want to do more of it, right?
It does. I love it. Yep. Love.
Yeah. So tell us about, the goals of the book and the goals of your speaking and the goals of the website.
So Better Human, when I wrote Better Human, it's a full-time job. My first one, I have to tell you, that was nerve-wracking and interesting all at the same, because I kind of put out my own personal story a little bit on why I'm on such a hunt to be a better human, and kind of had a rough, interesting childhood. Mother dies at 3, and parade of stepmothers, and I was homeless at 14, homeless at 17. So just kind of some craziness there, that most people only know me as a businesswoman, and they see me now and think, oh, she's got an amazing life. Isn't it great? And so I kind of wanted to say, okay, if you want to know why I'm so passionate about life and why I'm so passionate about better, I wrote Better Human to kind of show you why I'm on the hunt for it. And I'm far from done, brother. I've got so much work to do, and I'm a full-time job. So be clear. I didn't write Perfect Human. I wrote Better Human. So that was kind of the start of that book, and to just kind of show behind the curtain a little bit of who I am and where I'm going and what's important to me. The second book, which was Better Thinking, Think Better. So 14 years ago, for my team here at CBH, I started sending out a quote every single morning just to my team. And it was to say, I want to make sure that all of our heads are in the right place, that we start our day together. We're all thinking the same thing. So I started that 14 years ago, Monday through Friday. I get up around 4 or 5 a.m. and I send it out, whatever's on my heart, whatever's on my mind. Well, what happened is that all of a sudden I'd get an email from one of my teammates. Will you add my wife? She really needs this. Will you add my son? He really needs this. Will you add my mother, my aunt, so all of a sudden I ended up having thousands upon thousands of people subscribe to this daily thought of mine. So I took my 50 favorite thoughts and I brought them to art, brought kind of this book to life. And it's called Better Thinking, Think Better, Be Better. So that was kind of my second book. And then the third one, I get asked a ton in my role at CBH Homes as the vice president of the largest builder and 37th in the nation. Leadership is huge, right? We have close to 300 employees. It's important. And so that's really where I just kept getting asked, how do you lead? And I have struggles, and how do you stay positive? And how do you, work with your team? And, what's the best way to, to be a leader? And that's where my third book came, You Go First, Become the Leader Your Team Needs.
Excellent. Excellent. And so if they go to your website, what type of resources are there for them?
So really right now on my website, obviously my books are there, my quotes come in every single day, and then my podcast is there. So you're going to be able to, I've been really kind of focusing on podcasting. I'm still writing. I've got a couple books and a couple more coming. And then I speak. So truly that's kind of that avenue. And I've actually cut down on some of my speaking, but I still probably do close to 24 engagements a year.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And you're just able to manage that with work and your family and fitting that in, right? So,
what's that saying? It's one of my favorite ones, plan your days, plan your life.
Yeah.
And like you said, you said it perfectly in the opener when you said to me, when you were introducing me, you said, well, she could just go home at night and have dinner and watch Netflix and hang out with, and, I've chosen to do more with my time. I'm not a big TV person unless it's a sporting event. There's a football game. There's a Yankee game on.
Yankees, you told me, right? Yeah.
Right. And I actually will type and write while I'm watching the game.
Yeah.
That I find, my hobby, if you want to call it, my passion, my interest would be all of those other things that I do.
Yeah, that's great. So, what I often do on my podcast is I ask people about a time when they crashed and almost burned and got back up again. We all have them. In fact, my latest book is 10 authors, including myself, sharing our story about crashing and burning, but rising like the phoenix. And but we call the book Crash and Learn, right? Because if you get back up, you learn from it. And so, my last episode, I had Mark Victor Hansen, who is the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, right?
Yes.
And all those books, right? And they are, he and Jack are, with those books, are the second best-selling authors of all time.
Amazing.
You know what the first book is?
No, what was the first book?
The Bible. So so the Bible has sold the most, and then the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. That is amazing.
Not bad. Yeah. And it all started out, he was telling me that when their first book came out and they went to Barnes & Noble to carry it, they said, oh, we don't carry two author books. So they said, well, do you carry the Bible? And they were like, well, of course, well, you might have to make an exception then because there's a few authors in there,
Okay, that is a great story.
And the woman said, yes, you're right. So they were the first, besides the Bible, the first 2-author book in Barnes and Noble, right? So
Okay,
kind
that's
of funny.
impressive. Oh my gosh.
But so you look at Mark Victor Hansen, and he's in his early 70s now, and he's got more money than he needs, doing very well. A lot of different books and units, things that he's doing. But he just happened to bring up that kind of randomly that in 1974 when I went bankrupt, and I was like, wait, what? Mark Victor Hansen went bankrupt, and it just goes to show me that, almost every successful person has a story behind the curtain of crashing and falling down, but hopefully getting back up again. So would you like to share a story behind your curtain of how, successful Rhonda, who looks great, full of energy and positivity and doing very well, some of the times in your life when you fell down, it was really tough, but you got back up again.
I would tell you the one that from a business standpoint, you heard kind of my family and getting through all of that. So that's so long ago. I'm so over that. Is right, I'm done with that. Yeah. So I would tell you, as a home builder in the home building industry, and I've been in the industry now close to 30 years, getting really, really close to not quite 30 years, but coming up on it. And when the market crashed, what do you think about that? When the market crashed, we went from doing 1,800 homes a year to 300. We went from 175 employees to 30.
Wow.
And to go through that as a company, and to, I love my team, I love my people. So for me to have to let that many people go, and for us to just kind of, I call it the Titanic, that thing, right? Like, that was probably or absolutely one of the hardest things I've gone through as a leader, as a human, as a person. It affected the entire community. It affected the nation. It affected everyone in my company here. And so I kind of had to say, how am I going to do this? I had so many people tell me today, I can't believe you're still in the industry. So many people got out. So many people left. There was bankruptcies. There was foreclosure, right? I mean, there were so many things that people went under, and businesses and all that kind of things. And, through it all, number one, I was very concerned about my team. So the people that did leave us and had to leave us because of everything that was going on, I tried to place as many of them as I could in other companies with other people, just whatever I could do. I was making phone calls. I was sending emails. I was doing, because that's what I think you talked about learning. I hoped I also could do that with as much grace as possible. The other thing I did, the people that ended up staying, the 30, they were still under we all were incredible financial times, hard times, right? Their spouses are losing their jobs. I mean, their house has gone into foreclosure. They're going into bankruptcy. And so I ended up actually learning and hosting a Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University for the people that were left standing with their spouses. Because I said, we need to kind of protect ourselves, learn from this. Guard, I need to help you. We need to try to figure out how are we going to survive through all of this and help this company come out of it. But I will tell you from just a overall, when you see your business that we were doing so well and you're at the highest of highs, and I'm telling you, we went to the lowest of lows as a human, as a company, as my team. And when that happens, your heart is just the stress, the heart, all of it. So I would tell you the things I learned from it is that I can survive. So God bless. I'm not a quitter. I didn't stop. I didn't want to leave home building. I didn't want to abort mission. I wanted to find my way through it the best that I can. And that's what it was about. Hence why some people are like, you taught Financial Peace University. I was like, you do what you got to do. Yeah. Right. I mean, and then, place my team as much as I could. And then ever since then, you know what it is? It's about being humble enough and hungry enough, right? Humble enough to realize that you can get, you can get kicked at any moment. So be careful. And then hungry enough, when I say hungry enough and passionate enough about what we do and as a home builder in order to build your way out of it. And it's just been a slow climb out. And you've got to have the hunger and the passion in order to get that done, in my opinion, or it's you'll quit. They'll be like, this is too hard. I don't love it that much. No way am I going to work that hard. No way I mean, all of a sudden 30 people are doing the job of 75 to 100, right? Like everyone has 3 or 4 hats and we're just doing everything and anything that we can to survive. So to me, that was probably the absolute hardest thing, and have been kind of, I would hate to say now, obviously we're in a very good market and we feel really, really good. We'll do 2,000 homes this year, but that has taken us a very long time to get back to.
Well, do you feel that horrible experience at that time, it was hell, but would you change anything?
Would I change anything? We absolutely changed some things as a company, right? Like our processes, our streamlining, kind of, it makes you look at everything and say, you're right. What would you do differently? How do you look at things? Even as we're ramping up and growing, we're definitely more nimble. How about that? We're watching things. I always say, try, adjust, tweak, try, adjust, tweak. I think what happened is that some people think, well, it's always going to be this way. Just keep going. You kind of got it on cruise control. And I'm saying, no. There's no more cruise control, right? It's like, we're going to watch, adjust, tweak, and keep doing that so that we stay in the moment and make sure that we're paying attention to everything.
But you wouldn't have changed the experience because
no.
It was a learning.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah. I mean, as tough it was, a part of who you are today is the scars that you got through the process, right?
Yeah.
And no, that's great. I really appreciate that. I know it's tough. I have a very good friend, Mark Russo, who in Seattle, same thing. Doing really well, and market hit hard, and had to really readjust the way he did and thought about everything. And he's stronger, better, faster because of it today, right? So, so I record these, usually a couple months in advance. So we're sitting here in mid-March. Okay. What's the date today? Actually, March 11th. We're recording this, and we're in the what hopefully is the height, and I say height of the coronavirus, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of in another. It's almost like a 9/11 experience, right? Like we don't know what to expect. It's just bizarre and weird, and what's going to happen, right? Like total status quo out the window. The airports are empty. Events are being canceled. Are you guys using that experience in 2008, 2009 to say, all right, well, if something does, crazy happen with the economy because of this coronavirus, did that help your thinking as you go forward with what might happen this year?
And to me, I think the coronavirus has just kind of come on, obviously, and you're very right with the 9/11, that just obviously came on. I think with us, we are always looking at our business environment. What do we have today? Where are we? And if something was to happen, what would that look like for us? And we probably didn't do that as much, during the first one. So we feel good on where we are, what we've planned for, and know that we are at the right time, at the right place, no matter what's going on with this. I think what we're more focused on is how do we protect our team? How do we make sure, that everyone stays healthy in the building? We've kind of put some things in place, and just kind of saying, okay, we just kind of need to keep listening, watching, and what did I say? Adjusting and tweaking as needed based on what this market does. And that's all we can do, right? I mean, we can't go too far out because who knows? We've kind of got to keep watching and adjusting as every day comes. Yeah.
Well, hey, God willing, when this podcast airs, the coronavirus is a distant memory, right?
Yes. Love your thinking. Yes.
We will hope. So listen, you're massively positive and full of energy, and your hot husband definitely has a great impact on you. What are some of your habits, your daily habits, to ensure that you're the best you can be? You have some routines and habits in every day that you do?
I do. I absolutely do. I think one of the, and people ask me, I would tell you, one, I'm a meditator. So I start my day, and at the end of the day, around 5 or 6, I'll meditate one more time, hopefully if everything goes right. So I firmly believe in quieting your mind and kind of just giving yourself, because we kind of all run around a little crazy to me at times, and everyone's, this, I got to do this, I got to do that, and I got to hurry here, and I got to do that. I'm like, whoa, 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 hey, hey, hey. If you actually quiet what do they call it? The monkey mind for a minute, just kind of get control of yourself and your mind and your day, everything gets really good, in my opinion. The other thing I would tell you is I'm very much about my calendar. So I start with a full calendar, which means every Sunday night, I sit down and I look at the week ahead of me. I look at everything that I want to accomplish, and I put all those things in my calendar first. And then everyone else who needs to see me or wants to be, be in my life, or wants an interview or an appointment or whatever, they get the rest of the time that I've left open. Where I feel like most people do it the other way. They, let everyone fill up their calendar, and then they kind of find this hidden time or whatever, and try to squeeze in what's important to them. And I'm like, no. Sunday night, I decide everything I'm going to get done. I start with a full calendar, and then everything else gets put in from there. And I think that's just a different mindset than most people, but it's helped me accomplish the things that are important to me. And then I check it. So every morning I'll, start the day. I look at everything that I'm going to get done for the day that's important to me. That night, I look at it one more time and I say, did it work? Did I get everything done? Do I need to move anything tomorrow? Do I need to change anything? And then I do it all over again. So I'm not going to leave anything to chance. I'm not going to hope my week goes well. I'm not going to hope that I get something done. I am very disciplined with my calendar, my days, and my life. And to me, I think that's what helps me accomplish the big things that I need to accomplish.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It is about taking control of your day and your week. Otherwise, it is easy to let other people and, other agendas sneak in there and take control. And I love the monkey brain thing. Yeah, I mean, we want to have fun. That sounds fun. Look at that squirrel over there. Let's go play, right? Yeah. But to stay focused, I went through a Darren Hardy program where he shared a tip that he got from an elderly billionaire. And Darren asked him, "What's your secret for success?" And he pulled out a little piece of paper that it was a grid, it was a quadrant, and in the bottom right was he listed every week he listed everything he needed to be in his mind, everything he needed to be working on. Okay. And then what he did is he picked the top 3, and he put the number 1 in the first quadrant, top left, and then number 2 in the second quadrant, top right, and number 3, bottom left. And all the others stayed, and he didn't look at that fourth quadrant. And so as he planned his week, he only was thinking about, like, how do I get, priority 1, 2, and 3 done? And then he would take a deep breath at the end of the next week and say, all right, what's moving up? What's new? What, all that. What are we crossing off? What are we adding? And once again, what are we prioritizing? And that was his secret. That little piece of paper, right?
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple, silly. Yep. How long do you meditate for?
So and that's the funny part to me. Well, it depends on how one time. At a minimum, it's 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. In a dream world, it's 15 to 20. But I always say, okay, I shoot for 10, depending on my schedule and everything I have going on. 15 at night. I have to tell you, I wish more people would do it before dinner or before they went home. I talk to a lot of people here, and we kind of have this habit as humans that you've been working all day, but then you have to race home and do that other side of your life. And so you come in like a tornado, and you've got 20 million things to do, and if you've got kids and wives and things, and you forget to just slow down for a second and get your mind straight and get focused on what you're going into instead of what you've just left. And so I always say it's one of the most powerful things you'll do as a human if you actually it's almost like you're also disconnecting from your busy, crazy day that you just had and getting ready to go into a whole nother realm when you go home. And I think it just makes you happier, more positive, and more peaceful human.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. My good friend of mine, Rob Dubay out of Detroit, he turned his life around through meditating, and now he has a very successful company. But his second mission is all about meditating and quieting the mind. It's called Do Nothing. So he wrote a book called Do Nothing. He has a podcast called Do Nothing, and now he has a retreat. I believe it's a 4 or 5 day silent retreat in the mountains of Colorado. And, so you should go, right?
Yeah.
Imagine 4 or 5 days of just quieting the mind. It sounds nice, right?
Wow. I love this.
He's trying to get me to go. I do want to go. I just have to commit, right? So,
yes.
So besides your own, what is your favorite book that you would recommend for a beginning stage, middle stage business owner or entrepreneur?
Boy, an entrepreneur. It's interesting to me, and one of my favorite kind of sayings, and it's kind of a foundation of CBHMs, but it's really a foundation for me, is love wins. I firmly believe that when you love who you are and all your gifts and talents, and then you love, your company, your career, your community, your team, your family, that you'll win. It's just this natural kind of energy and source that comes out. And so everyone's like, what the hell does love have to do with business? And I was like, well, so much if you do it right. So much if you do it right. And so on that note, I would tell you that one of my absolute favorite books is Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning.
Oh, all right. We're best friends. Best friends. Yep. I put it in my bookshelf right now. It's the first book there. Favorite book.
I just think if you read that and you understand all of this, that no matter what you go through in business, right? Because you think about it as an entrepreneur, it gets a little dirty, gets a little rough,
yeah.
right? Is that you think, okay, if this man can go through everything that he's gone through, and the tenacity and kind of like his relentless and resilient, and okay, I kind of transfer that to business a little bit and say, that's what it's going to take. You're going to go through some messes. You're going to go through some hard times. You're going to go through some not easy things. You're going to get some no's and some, right? All sorts of things, people quitting and, you know it. So if you look at that, and then you think at the end of the day, the message of his search for meaning, that love never left him, and how important the love part is that, man, that's why people say, that's your business book. I'm like, it is.
Yeah.
It's all in how you look at it, but to me, it's a life book, not just a business book. But if you take it there, you'll win.
I couldn't agree with you more. And for those avid listeners of my podcast, they're probably sick of me saying this, but that's how much I love this book. But my favorite quote is from Viktor Frankl, and I believe it's very much for business, where he says, "Don't chase success, create value, and success will find you," right? And I mean, it's boom, right? Like, drop the mic, Victor. Fan-freaking-tastic. You nailed it, right? And so that's business. And yeah, poor guy was being, tortured through the Holocaust. But the reason in his mind is the way he survived is because he knew that there was something to be learned from this experience where he could impact and help the world afterwards. And that's what kept him around, right? That's what kept him through the whole process. And yeah, he certainly, we're here how many years later talking about him, right? So yeah, that's incredible. So no, I really appreciate that. So we're gonna wrap things up, but I wanted to ask you one last parting gift.
Okay.
If you're sitting down with a new business owner, a new entrepreneur, and they're looking for some Ronda, nuggets, some Ronda gems, what are you going to tell that beginning stage entrepreneur that's going to give them some inspiration and direction for the next year?
It's interesting to me. I love entrepreneurs, and I talk to new business owners all the time. I'll have coffee and phone calls and all of that. And it's interesting to me that, Corey Boughton, our founder and owner, who is an amazing entrepreneur, by the way, we drink the same type of Kool-Aid, and, kind of goes back to those two things. And if they can keep them first place, your hunger, right? Your hunger for why you're doing this. And you better remind yourself that every single day, because you're going to get off task, off track. Right. So whatever thing you need to type up, write up, and keep front and center, I'd put a sticky on my computer. This is what I'm hungry for and on the hunt for. And then you have to stay in gratitude. And I know that's what I always say, is that I think you got to be grateful for the hunt. You got to be grateful for everything, every lesson that's going to be fed up, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. But when you stay in that lane, that everything gets better. And I think those are the two things that we would say that drives us as humans, as entrepreneurs, this company, is our hunger for where we're going and what we want to obtain and do and have. And then this immense gratitude that says, okay, everything that comes to us is to serve up a lesson, serve up, something that we need, and we need to embrace it all. And as we do, more will come to us. And I think sometimes entrepreneurs lose their hunger because it gets tested every single day, and it just so you kind of got to reread every morning. This is what I'm on the hunt for. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to obtain. And then if you say thank you, I have this great gratitude practice that I learned from Sean Aker and Ryan Estes, which I just love. And it says this. It's super easy, by the way. So every morning you have to brush your teeth, and every night for 2 minutes, right? We're all on the same page. That's like dental law or something.
You would hope. You would hope that everybody.
You would hope. So, brush your goddamn teeth. So this is what it says, and I love this, is that every morning, if you were just to do this super simple, don't make this hard, love a beat. Every morning, the 2 minutes, the first minute, you list out 3 incredibly specific things that you're grateful for. Just 3 specific things, right? And then the next minute you say, what are the 3 things I'm going to accomplish today? Kind of like your quadrant. What are the 3 things? So you're brushing your teeth, and you're already starting your day. Because most people brush their teeth and think, oh my God, I haven't done this. I haven't done that. I'm late for that. I'm never going to get that. This is going to be hard today.
How to get all that toothpaste on the mirror. Yeah.
Right. Like they're in the wrong state of the mind. And then at the end of the day, at your 2 minutes, you do the same thing. These are the 3 things that went well for me. These are the 3 things that I'm grateful for. And these are the 3 things that I feel really good about that I accomplished today. So you kind of have to, especially with entrepreneur or anyone in life, it's about your mindset, where you start and where you end. And I'm hoping that's just a little cheater for them.
Yeah. Hey, it's easy to do. I just bought this gratitude journal. It's called the 5-second journal.
I love that. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I started because it just helps me to, kind of add a little process to it. Right. So
I love that. I love that. Well done. Well done.
Well, thank you. Well, Rhonda, I'm grateful for you.
Right back at you, brother.
I'm going to talk about you while I'm brushing my teeth tomorrow morning. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if people want to, learn more about you and get in touch with you, where do they go?
So you can go to betterhuman.today if that's easy for you. If it's easier for people to remember my name, it's rondaconger.com. If you're interested in my home building career and the company and everything that we have here, which I'm a huge fan of, obviously, I'm incredibly biased of this team, cbhhomes.com.
Cool. And Rhonda, there's no H.
Thank you. Don't you dare put an H in there.
Never. Ronda. Rhonda. Very good. And Conger is Conger. Can't mess that up. So
thank you.
Rhonda, thank you so much. I appreciate all that you're doing, and I'm wishing you massive continued success.
Well, thanks for having me as a guest on your podcast. I love it. I love seeing all the people that you interview, all the amazing work that you're doing. You are right in line with this whole Better Human. It's a full-time job and helping everyone just to get better. So all I have is love and gratitude. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Rhonda, I can't wait for tomorrow. You know why?
Why?
I get better every day.
Yes! Winning!
I used to say better looking, but maybe that was a little, don't want to brag too much.
I love it.
Thanks again, Rhonda. I really appreciate it. And I also want to thank the Avanti Entrepreneur families for listening and or watching to the podcast. Always appreciate you. I'm honored to be part of your success plan. We have our website, AvantiEntrepreneur.com. Tons of great interviews there with podcasts, a lot of great resources, our events, our learning library, etc. AvantiEntrepreneur.com. Make it a great day and stay awesome.